Hi, everybody. My name is Amy Amadeo. I'm the Executive Director of AZSA. We are very excited to have Carol Mixon from Skill Check back for one of our great webinars. And today we're going to be talking about hiring a great sales team. That is absolutely crucial to running your business. So without further ado, let me introduce Carol. Carol, welcome.
Welcome. Thank you, Amy. Yeah, Amy, I think one of the hardest things that I do, or maybe in self-storage, what we do is just hiring. It's hard sometimes, and you may think someone that it seems like in an interview seems wonderful, and then you get them out there and they're like, oh, this is not for me. So, I think they do have to like people for sure, right? So,
Absolutely.
but finding that great sales team is super important. And I really like this topic because finding a team, building a team is important, and trying to, because what you're teaching them also, and trying to ensure that they give good customer satisfaction, and it will really help your company grow. Right. So and do better. So if you have a great sales team, and I will tell you, the funny thing is that I know about storage. When I changed out a team that I thought, wasn't doing so well, and then I brought in a really great team, the store just blooms, and the income goes up, and everything just seems to work so well that's when I think, you know what, I probably waited too late to get a new team in there, because sometimes Amy, they just get tired.
Right.
And it's not that they don't like what they're doing. It's just, it's the same old store, same old thing, same old people. And maybe they're ready for a new challenge. So I don't know.
Absolutely.
But you're looking for great people. It's not easy. So
fantastic. I will let you take it from here.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. So I think there's some really important key strategies for hiring successfully. And I think first and foremost, we really need to talk about identifying those stellar personalities. And I really do think if you're looking for people to be in the self-storage manager or behind that desk, they have to have that gift of gab. They must be positive. They need a great voice. They need to be friendly. They need to like other people. And not everyone does. So you think sometimes, oh, well, they'll like the customers. Well, no, if they don't like people and they don't like working with people, then this is definitely not the job for them. But I think we also need to, look at the alignment of the team with the business goals, because you want to make sure that you're communicating your expectations clearly to the people that you're hiring. And especially when you're talking about income goals, customer service standards that you have and that you expect, and the maintenance routines and what they need to be doing every day. So all of those things, trying to, hire people and making the expectations so they know what the job is all about. And I will say, I've made some poor hiring decisions before. and see, that's usually when I'm in a hurry too. I will say that's one thing that I notice about myself. But when you're also implementing the training program, you want to have a comprehensive operations manual, and we have that at the Arizona Self-Storage Association, that you can get that guide. And it will really help you with training new people, and you get consistency that way. You have some performance standards across your team. So it really makes a huge difference when you get that ability to put what you have in writing to your training, to the output, and what the standards are that the employees are learning. The other thing is, looking for these skill sets of that enthusiasm and with the person. And I find you might have heard this story before, but I had this lady that I said, tell me a little bit about yourself in an interview. And she said, well, what do you want to know? And I said, well, business, professional, personal, whatever you'd like to say, and tell me. And then she was like, well, which one? And I thought, wow, just the way she answered that, I thought, wow, that is a really odd thing to say to me, I would think. And then I said, well, either whatever you want to tell. And she goes, you have to tell me which one it's going to be. And I thought, you know what? I don't think this is for you. And then she got all upset. She said, how could you know that it's not for me if you're, I've only been in the seat like a minute or so. I said, yeah, that's really all it's taken to know. Yeah. And unfortunately, if they don't have that gift of gab, we have other things. We can train them to do many other things, but you can't give them a good personality. You can't make them friendly. You can't make them kind. So I think make sure you find that in the person. And then you can work on that technical proficiency. You know what? If they don't know the software, oh, well, they're even if, let's say you're an owner and you don't know the software, there's still the software. We have all kinds of training things with our software in self-storage that can help them. So you don't need to worry about that. Don't choose them just because they know your software. Look for the proficiencies that they need. They need to be able to use a computer, though. I will say that, because a few people I've yeah, it's a lot more computer work than I thought it would be. Well, and again, it was probably an older person. And listen, I'm an older person now, which my son keeps reminding me how old I am. Not specifically, but every time anything, I don't know, anything difficult at all. Technologically, I have trouble, and it's so much easier not to listen and let him do it. So, but that doesn't work in a storage property. I will tell you that much, right? So remember, we're looking for those core competencies, and especially when we're team building, we want to hire these coachable individuals so they can adapt to the customer scenarios and be, interactive with the customers. You want to have someone that can clearly communicate with customers and give good feedback. And you want to make sure that they are, getting this information and they're giving it to customers. And, especially if you're team building, and even if you only have one store, you might have a husband and wife couple, you might have an individuals, but you might have an assistant manager. Work with them all, because you're supposed to be encouraging the innovation and allowing the team members to suggest improvements in the sales process, and fostering that culture of growth and improvement, and just how can we make this better? Because that's always important, is to look at what you're doing. Another thing is for sure is motivation, and you want to incentivize the performance, especially is based on, if they have a salary, a bonus. I like to tie the bonus in with the phone sales score. If they don't get their phone sales score, they don't get, as much of their bonus. And so, if you ever want a sample of that, I can send you a sample. You can just email me information at the very end, and I can send you a little thing that you can easily figure it out. Or you could change it up to make it your own too. So, but it is important to motivate, and motivation comes. Not everybody is motivated by money. I will tell you that. Many people like affirmation. They like, you telling them they're doing a good job. And I've had owners that have well, yeah, I haven't been by the store in a year. The store is doing so well. I said, you need to go by. You need to go by and tell them how great they're doing. Because it's still, even once a year would be nice. And, maybe they're not coming every month and talking to you, but it is important to interact with your people and motivate them. And you can do it through bonuses, but I think it's nice for the owners to come around too and say how great things look or are going. Also, effective training and support. There are a lot of different ways, especially in self-storage now, that you can get effective training and support. Well, again, here we are at the Arizona Self-Storage Association supporting you with training. And we have all kinds of other things that you can get help with also. But when you have a training framework with new hires and, talking about mastering that process of the sales, utilizing different role playing, getting feedback, and the mentorship, and the things that we do at Arizona Self Storage Association, whether it's at our conferences or even the webinars that we do, like this one. It's really important to be able to listen to training and save it for feedback, or passing it on to the other people in the office so they can everyone listen to it and be on the same page. But that feedback that you get and the training that you get will really help. And just sometimes it's just motivational, right? It's just to give you a little pump up for the day. So it's really positive to be able to get that kind of information and get that feedback and to do something with it, right? So you also want to remember, if you are a supervisor or if you even have an area or an assistant manager under you, remember, don't forget that to give feedback to them. And again, that's once again with the mystery shopping, it's important is any feedback that you get, the customer surveys, maybe online reviews, the things that you might look at and assess and say, hey, we got kind of a not so great review. Let's see if we can get some more in that will push that one down and put this one, the good ones up. But you want to hire those people that are eager for growth and act on that customer surveys also and for improvements. Because if you don't look and ever say to yourself, wow, I could really do that better. And I will tell you, sometimes in life I've heard different things of about needing improvement, and sometimes I've cried. Sometimes I cry a little here and there, not very often anymore. I'm getting maybe past the crying age stage, but I will say when those hit me like that, I knew I cared. I knew it was important to me. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to turn this around and I'm going to do better. And in fact, even like when I was with National Self Storage, in the 80s, this guy that they had come out and evaluate us, I had a glowing report, but I had a couple of things that I needed to work on. And those couple little things that I needed to work on, I really, really took those to heart and worked at those because I didn't want to ever see those again. Because I thought, well, yeah, that's probably true. Yeah, that's probably true. And some of it was letting the people in the session, some of the managers were strong and kind of, and I didn't, kind of get in there and say, hey, you don't need to smoke because you smoked 5 minutes ago. So it wasn't even training stuff. Some of it was, but it set the tone for the training class. So, just never know in life, do you, how things go. But when you're thinking about working with this team and building the skills, you want to make sure you're coaching for sales excellence. And really, if you develop some sessions that focus on the sales techniques and that customer engagement, that's going to be really important. And I really love to hear some real world scenarios. You can listen to some calls that are already done. You can practice some. You can fake some up and have each other practice from each other and have one person be the manager and one person be the customer. But all of that can really help, even though sometimes it gets silly at times. So, they kind of crack each other up or say something tough or hard or whatever. But remember, you can also use technology to do that because there are all kinds of other, some of the latest training technology can really make it important for you to improve that technology. With technology, you can improve your training for sure, but you want to ensure your team stays ahead of that competitive market and are trying to, especially when our season comes up, because our storage season is coming up now. And it's important to make sure those skills are ready and they're prepared for it, and that they realize that every single call now counts big time. And I will say every time the phone rings, it's like, to me, it's a big deal. And I try to put out everything else and focus on that call because that is super important to get that from going from a person that might just be looking around for what we think are just looking around for prices to actually committing to come down and to meet me. That's the fun part of it. That's what you need to get that place and be confident about it. So maintaining the trained behaviors. I think when you're talking about the skills on the phone, you really need to do some kind of mystery shopping assessment, whether it's on the phone, in person. It's more objective. It's than you just saying something to your employees or your assistant manager when they're there. I mean, it doesn't hurt to talk about it. I know at Skill Check we do roundtables where the managers all come together. We listen to some calls, and it's not the people that gave up their calls. They know that they're going to be listened to, but it's kind of fun because it's not. It's only managers interacting about it, so that's kind of a great way to do it too. But think about even like conducting your regular walkthroughs and audits and providing actionable feedback to the staff that reinforces all of the training and any corrective things that you have to do. Sometimes I'll notice that, hey, they didn't notice this space was locked in the open position. So anyone could have gotten into it. So the customers just put the lock on. They didn't realize that they had to push it all the way over so for it to be locked. So those are things that, I like to, make sure that I'm training, or if I'm out there saying, oh, you missed something on this one. Did you look at the lock? And what Kai glanced at it. Yeah, I said, but it's not all the way in. It's just, and we could lift it. We lifted it right up. We lifted the door up because it wasn't even closed. So yet it had the lock on it, but they locked it in the open position. So those regular walkthroughs and audits are really important to do. So the other thing I think is, when we talk about all the things that you can do in self-storage to be great, I think join in what we're doing at the Arizona Self-Storage Association, because it's when we get together, I think we're better. There's just no way to really get around that so much when you hear other people. And I've done this. This is my 40th year in self-storage. When I think about this, and when I think about, or I hear certain things at trade shows or at conferences, I'm thinking, oh, geez, I used to do that. I forgot I used to do that. And then sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm writing this down because I'm doing this. I'm going to change up because it's influential. It makes me think of something that I can do better. And you can always improve there. And I've, Amy, since I can see you now, I play tennis. I used to play very competitive tennis. And I've taken years and years of lessons, and the same with my voice. I sing. So I started at 8 taking voice lessons. And now if I go sing somewhere, I have to go take lessons. And every time when I take a lesson, like when I'm rusty, I'm going to say I'm rusty. It's almost embarrassing because I'm vocally not in shape. Right. And you have to be that way. And I think even though managers think, well, I answer the phone all the time, but are you ever getting any better? Are you ever saying, oh, geez, I forgot this, I forgot that, or let me keep this list in front of me so I remember to do these each and every time? Because it makes a huge difference personally for you and for the company and for the owner. So it all around. And I think a job well done, Amy, for both of you and I are both like this. We thrive on positive feedback and stuff like that. And I think, when customers come in and say, oh yeah, and you might ask them, hey, why did you choose us? I know you said you were calling around. And then I bet you'll hear you were the nicest person, or you were the most helpful, or you're most this, and you'd be surprised. And I think that's why I don't ever want to go away from ever not having a manager, because, and I know we can do this remotely, but doggone it, people matter. And I know how many times in this business that I've thought, oh, I'll just call the manager because I know the manager will take care of it. And it's wonderful.
Carol, absolutely. This webinar was fantastic. You made some really great points, especially, hiring is not just the interview. It's a lot more because a lot of people, and, I've noticed it myself, people interview really well, but that does
Yeah.
not mean that they can perform. And, that's extremely important. And I like your point. Sometimes there isn't anybody out there. We all get complacent in what we're doing, and bringing that new person on and, bringing that new fresh blood. All of those things are relevant in hiring. And to your point, you can't teach someone to be nice. You can't teach someone to, be kind. And those are one of the most important skills of your hiring is, you want to make sure when those customers come in that you've got that bright smiley face that knows how to operate what they're doing and has their questions answered, and just makes them, people take their stuff very, very seriously, and knowing that person is caring and understanding, it goes a long way.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. We are so grateful for you being here and taking the time out of your busy schedules to learn more. And like Carol said, we are stronger together. Please reach out. My information is also on the last slide. If you have any questions, like I said, if I don't know it, I know a wonderful board that does. Again, please reach out with any questions. Thank you so much for your time. Have a great day.